Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Hari Vishwanathan, and last 2 weeks have been very good in terms of on-field display for Indian football because there have been a few positive results. We'll talk about all those results today from women's team to club football. So strap in and enjoy the ride. So first, let's talk about the India under 20 women's team because they played their qualifiers in Myanmar, three matches: Indonesia, Turkmenistan, and Myanmar. In Myanmar, and uh, before the qualifiers, after the Uzbekistan results, where we played really, really well, supposedly because it was a closed door game, we were very, very happy and very, very looking forward to the qualifiers because we had very, very high hopes that we would qualify and we will probably beat two teams easily. One team is tough. We were thinking like that and we were very hopeful. But as we are Indian football fans, we can't get anything for cheap and easily. We always have to work hard, and that's what happened. The qualifier started with a very disappointing result against Indonesia, nil-nil. We couldn't score. All those big scoring matches, against Uzbekistan. We were happy that we scored so many goals because we scored four against them and we also scored one and dominated them. But in this game, nil-nil, we couldn't even score. Of course, we didn't concede and they didn't even create more than two, three chances. Only one chance, which was very close, which was saved by the keeper. But overall, they also didn't get chance. And we were thinking we'll beat them easily, but that didn't happen. Tactically, Indonesia were very sound. They sat back and defended in numbers, in fours, in fives, in even at times in sixes. And there was no issue with our gameplay. That I have to say, the gameplay was proper, perfect. Uh, Maybe a little bit of here and there, but overall gameplay there was nothing to be worried about. But the thing that we were lacking was in the final third. We were not able to play that final pass, that decisive pass or a decisive decision making was very, very lacking throughout the whole game. We didn't uh, threaten them enough. We did threaten, but we didn't threaten them enough. I know the stats will tell you, of course, but it was a very disappointing performance. And to be honest, I didn't expect this because Indonesia, we have beaten them 6-0 when we played last time qualifiers, which means that they have improved a lot, and you will see the improvement, going forward as I will talk about it. But they did a really, really good job. They had a plan, they executed it. We also didn't do that well in front of goal. That was our mistake. And the coach and Shubangi, our captain, also admitted it. She said that we weren't good enough in the final third. Same did the coach because it happens, and it's good that they took responsibility. Plus, our going got tough when Turkmenistan was beaten 6-1 by Myanmar, and we were kind of bottom of the table, not really bottom, but we were. And it got tough because then both Indonesia also had chance and Myanmar had the advantage. And there was a lot of negativity after the first game in Twitter, in all of that, in Instagram as well, towards the team, towards the coach, that how we didn't beat these teams, how we didn't beat Indonesia. And some of the criticism was warranted because in the final third we weren't good, but it was a tough time. And now the second match against Turkmenistan was a must win, which was expected us to win. But after this Indonesia game, there were doubts. I mean, I wasn't doubting because I was seeing the bigger picture, but people doubted. And then the players and the coach proved us wrong in the second game. For first 8 to 10 minutes, there was a little, nervousness because we hadn't scored a goal till then. Last game full, so there was pressure. But once we scored that first goal, of course, we exploded. Then we got to see all that, what we were expecting, what would have happened against Uzbekistan. We thought because it was a closed door match, we were imagining all that. We got to see, we scored five in the first half and beautiful goals. The final touch came back, the final third entries came back, the final ball and the kicks came back. It could have been more. It could have been 10-0, 11-0, even 12-0. But their goalkeeper saved a few great shots. Their defense also cleared a few shots. But in the end, it was 7-0, and it was a statement because all that negativity which was surrounding us, went poof. there was nothing the critics could say for this match. We beat them 7-0, which was higher margin than Myanmar. So which showed that we were better than them a little bit, not too much. We will talk about it, but we were better than them, and that's exactly what happened. And on the other hand, Indonesia again showed us why they were a good team. We underestimated them, and same did Myanmar, because they were leading 2-0 for 68 minutes. Then Indonesia came back, scored 2 and drew. And now it was a positive for us. So now things started moving in positive directions. We put a statement win against Turkmenistan. Indonesia drew Myanmar, so it was again close the group. Now going into the final match day, all three teams had chance. Turkmenistan, of course, was gone, but three teams had chance, because if we would have lost, then Myanmar would have qualified. If we would have drew, then Indonesia could have scored, and on head-to-head, they were ahead. So we were still behind. Out of the three, we had the least chance. So in the final game, we had to beat Myanmar. And then came the final game. We started all guns blazing, I will say, because in the first half, we just completely destroyed them. There was not a single chance close to us that they came. Only one or two where there was a counter attack. They were playing long balls. We were so much dominant in the first half that they were playing long balls. They were relying on balls behind us, on counters in their home. And we could have scored more, but we only could score one. So the finishing problem was again there. But overall, we played so well in that first half. Got a lead, 1-0. Great goal from the left. That also from our pressure. Their defender slipped. Our 22 grabbed the ball, put a beautiful switch on the left, and then in the 7, Neha, number 7, put in a great ball. The keeper could not clear it, and our player was right place at the right time, 1-0. And there were lots of more chances that we could have taken in the first half. Our finishing was not good. Then came the second half, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the team pressure, because the fans were in a good number. So I think we pegged back a little bit. They also started. They came on all guns blazing, and we couldn't get out of it. And we were doing the same things. We were clearing the balls. We weren't as perfect as we were in the first half, and they kept putting pressure again and again and again, and we couldn't create that many opportunities in the second half, which was kind of strange but understandable, since you are 1-0 up, only 45 minutes, and you are qualifying. So it happens, but that's a thing where we should have to look into it, because we shouldn't leave that dominant side for us. But then the gods also helps us, and because our players worked hard, the gods also helped us. That great shot which hit the post for them and almost went in, but the keeper did a great job, saved it, and then it was cleared. A few more lucky chances, they again hit the post. We also hit the post once in the dying minutes, but overall the scoreline remained same, but the full time whistle blew, and there we go. 7 points, top of the table, qualifying for the 12 team Asian Cup, under 20 Women's Asian Cup, which is going to be happening in April in Thailand. So very, very good. Now we have another chance to qualify for the World Cup, because the qualifying for World Cup, under 20 World Cup, comes from this AFC under 20 Asian Cup. Top 4, you qualify for the World Cup. But it's tough, but we have a very good chance. So both under 20s and women's team senior are now in the Asian Cup. And that was all for the review for the India under 20 women's team qualifying for the under 20 Asian Cup 2026 in April in Thailand. So you tell me your thoughts. What do you feel after that Myanmar win away? And write down how you felt about the whole qualifiers as a whole, our goals, our gameplay, how good the work has been by the coach on the team. Very happy, and hopefully we can do well in the Asian Cup as well. Now moving on to club football. From international football, FC Goa had a playoff match for ACL2 group stage against Al Seeb from Oman. And before the game, because our league is not happening and all the things going on off the field in Indian football, the hope was very low because FC Goa didn't have a proper preseason. They only played a little bit of matches against local teams, and the India under 23 with a depleted squad, so uh, things weren't looking good because Al Seeb had already played a cup game. They also played a friendly tournament. They also played Oman under 23. So they were coming up with better preparation, and they had 9 players from the Oman national team in their squad and in their playing 11. So it's tough because Oman is now on the brink of qualifying to the World Cup as well. So they were a better team than FC Goa, especially since Goa didn't have a proper preseason, so no one was giving them enough chance to win because with all the things going on, it was pretty evident. But this is why we love the football game. FC Goa beat Al Seeb 2-1. Now, how about that? A team without any proper preparation, with very less games. Of course, 6 foreigners did play, but now you still have to win the match, right? You have still have to score those goals to win the match, and FC Goa did. Home advantage, of course, did play a role in that because there were 14,000, 12 to 14,000 people in the stands, which was very very good because the season hasn't started and there was a lot of rain, and if rain wasn't there, I think the stadium would have been full. Of course, people were kind of worried because the stadium didn't fill, but as the time goes on, as the match starts and going on, the stadium did fill, and 14,000 people, 12 to 14,000 people did came, and very good. And talking about the match, I think it was pretty straightforward because Al Seeb was the one dominating. Al Seeb was the one creating chances. They were the ones who were creating dangerous goal scoring chances, but you cannot win matches if you only create chances. So what FC Goa did, they gave up their playing style, what they usually play in ISL with the ball, and they opted for a completely pragmatic style. Manolo Marquez told the team to defend deep and hit them onto counters, and exactly that's what happened. Because in the first half, there were numerous chances. Their left wingers and their number 10s were beating our fullbacks, Boris and Akash. Easily they were leaving them dead for days. There was nothing both of them could do, and that just shows the quality of the fullbacks of ours. I mean, there is also a role of that. The preseason is not there. The performance would have been better. Yes, I get it, but the quality level was less. You have to, get that because our players are not that at level yet. But even if they were beating right and on, they weren't letting up. They were still going in chances. Of course, they were beaten, but Sandesh did a really, really good job with Paul Moreno covering them. Great defensive ability, both of them. Sandesh was the leader, and Paul Moreno was the one who was calm, who was spraying balls, defending as well. Sandesh was the one who was clearing balls, like what he does. And, it was really good defensive performance to see, great defensive performance. Of course, the fullbacks were a little bit off color. That's because of their wingers and putting so much pressure, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. There were even, so it's very tough. But in the end, their finishing was not good. Al Seeb, we also have to say that. But FC Goa, they took advantage of Al Seeb's mistake. The first goal, beautiful ball from Borja to Drazic. Keeper came out, a very bad mistake, but he had the calm. Drazic had the calm to pop it past him, and then beautiful finish chip over the keeper, and 1-0. But again, after that 1-0, Al Seeb kept creating chances again and again and again. But the defense stood tall, and in the halftime it's 1-0, and it was more of the same in the second half. But in the second half, FC Goa did look better. At least after the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, they did look better because they were trying to play. There were 2, 3 chances more where they could have finished. Udanta missed one chance. Boris had a chance if he had gambled. Bharat Chena was a little bit meh in this game, but I think it was needed. He was playing number 10, I think, because of that. But they did play something, but Alsi was still dominant, and that's how they got their goal. A beautiful run from the left. I think it was their winger. Sandesh was sucked into him, and the person moved in, their player, but beautiful cross. Akash left his man, and it was finished. And we were thinking, I think it's an end. Now they will score more. But football is a funny game, and that's exactly what happened. A corner, a beautiful move from the corner as well, but a beautiful corner. And Severio, people were criticizing why he was signed even, but he was the one who gave them the lead again. Again, a keeper mistake. He shouldn't have come, but he came. Beautiful header and goal, 2-1. Also luck did favor us this game also, just like under 20, where it was a clear penalty. It was a handball inside the box, and the referee gave the handball, but linesman said no, 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 no. So very thank you for the linesman, and it was not a penalty. And we somehow then defended again and again. The timeline might be there with the penalty and the goal, but overall they again keep creating chances, and we kept defending, and finally it was the final whistle, and now FC Goa are into the ACL2 group stage. By how good does that sound? Now we have 2 teams in the ACL2, and FC Goa had worked very hard, and I'm very happy for the fans as well. Now, as FC Goa has joined Mohun Bagan in the ACL2 group stage, it was time for the draw. And what do you know? Do you know who is in FC Goa's group? It's Al Nassr. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr. How good is that? Of course, it's a very tough group. Now, if we're talking about progressing from this, I think FC Goa has gotten a very, very tough group. Istiqlal is also a very good team. So, it's a very tough group for them. It's tough for them to qualify, but Al Nassr, hopefully, Sandesh Jhingan against Cristiano Ronaldo can happen, at least in Saudi, if he doesn't come to India, because he has the right to pick and choose his away games. Hopefully he comes to India to play, but even if he doesn't play, I think when Goa will go there, I think there is a very good chance of Sandesh Jhingan playing against Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm so excited to see that. But in terms of group, it's a very tough group, and very tough to progress from this, because I think top 2 teams progress, and number 2 is very tough to come in this group, because Al Nassr will destroy. Istiqlal is a very, very good team. So I think the second team, I don't remember who it is, but I think that's also a very, very good team. So hopefully something miracle happens, but it's tough. On the other hand, Mohun Bagan, they have a very, very favorable group. Then FC Goa, of course, it's still tough because Sepahan is there. Very, very tough team. Al Hussein from Jordan is also a very, very tough team. Both of them are very physical sides. Ahal FC, is from Turkmenistan, of course. They can be beaten, but we saw what Arkadag did, right? Even the Tajikistan team, which Mohun Bagan played last time, Rafshan Kulov, they also did very well. So it will be tough, but Ahal FC can be beaten. Hussein, if Mohun Bagan train well, at least at home they can beat them. Away, hope for a draw. Sepahan is just too tough, man. Iranian teams are very tough. Of course, they don't play too many foreigners, but they have 5 foreigners. Even if they don't play all 5 foreigners, it's very tough for them. Even if they play 11 Iranian players, it's tough for Mohun Bagan, even with all their foreigners, because Sepahan and all the Iranian teams, we know what Tractor does, we know what Persepolis does. They are very, very tough, the Iranian teams. So it's very tough for them as well. But Mohun Bagan has a chance to finish second, because Jordanian team Al Hussein can be beaten if performed well, if prepared well. So hopefully, fingers crossed that ACL2 preparation is done well by Mohan Bagan and we qualify somehow, for the quarterfinals, because we have to keep that slot, because now, of course, next season we have the slot, but for the season after that, currently we are behind. We can lose our direct spot for the ACL2, so that shouldn't happen. Both FC Goa and Mohan Bagan should try to do well, because that's how we will get that spot back. And if we keep doing well for 2 3 years, maybe we can get that one playoffs ACL elite spot. So that's the ultimate goal, but that's a bit far right now. We have to, protect our spot. So hopefully, both of them play well and we protect our spot. Now let's come back to international football, because now we're talking about the India under 17 women's team, because they are also playing SAF, and they are looking very very good as well, because they also have to play qualifiers. We'll talk about that, but right now we are talking about SAF, because this time the SAF is in round robin with playing twice, so there are a lot of matches, and we played two matches. 20th we played one, and 22nd we played one match is tomorrow, but right now we have played two matches. The first match was against Nepal, and as you can see in under 17 women's team, this year to previous years, the years, Bangladesh and Nepal recently have given us good competition, but I think this season our squad is different, man. It's really really good, because we destroyed Nepal 7-0 in the first game. First half, 5 goals. How about that, huh? And the gameplay was so beautiful. The girls are so much sound technically, man. And it could have been 11-0, 10-0, even 12-0. Because we missed chances as well in the first game. And technical solidity is so much better, man. This squad, I think this is the squad which played that IWL2, so they have experience, and it shows. The combination, the chemistry between them was very very good. And Nepal couldn't do anything. There were not many chances for them. I don't think they have gotten a few chances after the first 15 minutes, and it was very very good to see. I want this when we play SAF. I want us to dominate teams in SAF. I think that's how we will at least show that we are the superior team in SAF, and the under 17 is doing that, because in the second game also we beat Bangladesh 2-0, and if you see throughout the game, Bangladesh also didn't have too many chances. There were few chances on the counters, but overall we were the ones who were dominant. Intricate passing, 1-2 touch passing, was very very good to see. Technical ability is great, of course. Abhishta, hope she's okay, because she was stretchered out, but she was the best player for us. Now again, Alicia Lingdo, she was a very good player, and they were all doing so well, man. The things which need to be improved are not many, but since it's under 17 level, we can forgive some mistakes, but there are some improvements, because there were sometimes some passes which were lacking, some touches which were lacking, but they can be improved, because we have so many matches after this as well, because it's a round robin. And hopefully this performance continues, because the coach has done well with the team. He has worked hard, and I think it's in a very very good place. And I'm again, my hopes are increased for the under 17 team as well, because we are playing Kyrgyz Republic and Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is a team at our level. I think Bangladesh I would say, a little bit better, from past performance, but this season I think we are better than them. So I think we have very good chance of qualifying for that under 17 Asian Cup as well. So if that happens, all three categories we will qualify. So I'm looking forward to it. I will make a review of two games, because first two games Nepal Bangladesh. Now next two games, I think in 24th and 26th it is. I will make a video on that. So a video on that, or add that. So very good. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Because I'm very happy that the under 17 team is doing very well. So hopefully they keep doing well, and we can win this SAF easily. But this is not important. The qualifiers, hopefully we can get more games before qualifiers, good quality games, because we have time. So hopefully the team gets and does well and qualify for the under 17 Asian Cup as well. Now let's talk about the under 17 men's national team, because they also have qualifiers and they have a very tough group, because only the top team will go to the under 17 Asian Cup, and we have Iran in our group. The other three teams are beatable. Palestine, Lebanon, and Chinese Taipei are beatable. Iran is a tough challenge for us. And from the news, it's also not looking good, because people are saying that the squad is also not that good. One player from, as I said before in a video, that uh, from Chennai, there is a player there, but the overall squad doesn't look that good. People are saying, I don't know how true that is. So also, we are playing at home, which is a positive in Ahmedabad, but Iran, is a tough one, and we haven't played any friendlies, any top quality friendlies, because playing SAF is not enough, because the teams we are playing, they are better than SAF teams. Maybe only Bangladesh is the only one with competition. So I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully we can get 2 good games, or at least 3 good games before qualifiers, under 17 qualifiers. That would be ideal, but it's looking tough qualifying for that under 17. I wouldn't say easy, but in women's, I wouldn't say easy, but it's still qualifiable. But this under 17 men's, it's looking tough, and this was the only one which we qualified regularly in men's football, but we missed last time. We could have qualified last time as well. This time, of course, football, it's football, anything can happen. FC Goa also beat Al Seeb, that was also true. So anything can happen, but Iran usually is a very good team. Hopefully, we get some matches going forward before the qualifiers, and we can do well against Iran, and beat other teams to qualify for the under 17 Asian Cup, which is imperative, because under 17 is the one which we qualified regularly, which we missed last time, so we have to qualify this time. So let's see what the future holds. Hopefully we do well. The players play well, the coach also play well, so let's hope for the best. Now, before we end the video, let's talk about the under 23 conundrum. As you know, Mohun Bagan has refused to release the players for under 23 camp, and it's very, very important, because we are playing 2 games against Iraq under 23. Very good. No, AFF had arranged the friendlies, which is very good, but again, 2 sure starters in Abhishek and Suhail have not released for the camp. So it's a tough time in that, because we need those guys. Under 23, there is a realistic chance to qualify. As we know, Bangladesh under 23 in friendly did beat Bahrain 2-1. And also they also only lost 1-0. So there is a very good chance of us beating Bahrain. Brunei will beat Qatar stuff, but top 2 can qualify, and we have very good chance. Hopefully, I urge Mohun Bagan. I know no one's watching, but please, 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 any fans, Mohun Bagan fans, please, urge your team to release those players. I mean, senior team Kafa is okay, because we are only playing a friendly tournament. Of course, if we don't get NetGet, there's not really that big of a problem. In qualifiers they have to, but hopefully for under 23 they release. But it's also a FIFA window, so they have to release. But clubs have provisions that they will show he's injured, she's injured, this and that. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and players are released and they go to the under 23 team to play the friendlies and the qualifiers, because it's very important for us to qualify for the under 23, because we have a great chance and we have never qualified for that. So this is a great chance, and if we qualify, then the government support may increase, because this is the pathway for Olympics as well. So government will see that if we do well there. So hopefully Mohun Bagan players are released and we can go into the qualifiers with full strength. So yeah, that's all for today. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share to your friends your video, and I'm going to be regular again. I'm sorry I was busy, so to make up for it, I will make a video on today's Durand Cup after the match review, and hopefully tomorrow or Monday you will get that video. So I apologize for that, and also see, even without putting any videos for 2 weeks, and if even before that, there was a 2 week gap where I was sick, I still see views increasing, subscribers increasing, which motivates me a lot. And thank you for your support, and I will keep working hard. I will again come back to normal, and release few videos a week. So look forward to it. And that's all for today. Hari Vishwanathan signing out. Peace out.